Alright, hi there, MTGOntario and possibly MineDeprived.com. We're here for another Scars of Mirrodin Block 8-4 draft, and we're just waiting to get things started here. I've just been in a drafting mood recently, and kind of getting tired with Standard, as probably a lot of people are, seeing like 32 Jaces in the top 8 of a Grand Prix, and pretty much the same cluster of decks here and there. So things are getting a little stale in Standard. So I went back to drafting, and I guess that's better for you guys. You can see more videos. All right. So pack one, pick one. Well, the thing is with this pack is there's two cards that really stand out, and they're more or less in the same archetype. There is a Spread the Sickness and an Ink Moth Nexus, which both pretty much go right in the Infect deck. However, the rest of the pack is kind of bland. There's nothing else that really stands out at us, and I'm not actually sure on the power level of Ink Moth Nexus. I can imagine it being very good, as it's pretty much a Plague Stinger that can avoid like mass removal spells or anything that's sorcery speed. And Spread the Sickness is very solid all around. I've always liked it. I first picked it many times, but I think because it's online and I don't have this card, and value-wise, I'm going to take the Ink Moth Nexus because it's worth a lot more. So yeah, I'm going to take that and move on. Okay, well, it's a good sign that the rare is still here, and then, well, what can we read from this? There's two uncommons. That means the person to our right took an uncommon from us. There's not really much else in this pack other than this Phyrexian Juggernaut that I'm looking at, which goes perfectly into the Infect archetype that looks like we want to be drafting. And maybe we'll get a Virulent Wound coming back, but this pack, actually, like, if I didn't first pick the Ink Moth Nexus, or even had any sort of Infect signal, or Infect pick pack 1, I'd probably be pretty open to something like Serum Raker, or Leonin Sky Hunter, or something like that. But I think that taking the Juggernaut here is fine, and it's just a huge monster. And even if you were not in the Infect deck, I think the Juggernaut is still a very fine pick because it's just such a beating on its own. Alright, so seeing a goal for the throat at this point is pretty good for us, considering that black is one of the best Infect colors, and this is a pretty strong signal that black is open. It could also be that people think that Go for the Throat is a trap because it doesn't kill a lot of the creatures in this format, but it does kill a decent amount of them, and I think that taking it here is fine, especially over something like Virulent Wound, which has a high chance of coming back. And the rest of this pack is pretty bland. Peace Strider is the other card that stands out, and again, another Leonin Sky Hunter, but I think that we've pretty much committed to not drafting that sort of archetype, so I'll pick up the Go for the Throat here and see where we go from there. So this pack, unfortunately, doesn't have too much in ways of Infect cards. We've got a Plague Maw Beast, a Viridian Emissary, and a Flare Husk. One of the one of the pros that I was rooming with in Barcelona was telling me about this card, and he says even in the Infect archetype, it's still fine because it pretty much just reads like if a 5-mana 4/3 sacrifice, target player gains a poison, which is like not the worst, especially if your guys are trading in combat. So this guy's fine. Viridian Emissary is also pretty decent value, but I don't really like to take it at this point, and I guess this is uncommon, and this is more likely to come later at some point, so I guess I'll take this. Another option here would have been the Flare Husk, but stuff like that comes around again, so I'm going to take the uncommon here. Alright, so this pack pretty much has nothing that good for us. Yeah. There is a Pump Spell, an Equipment, a creature that doesn't have Infect. Oh, sorry, I saw a Scourge Servant here, which is actually decent as well. The question is, do you take this guy over like an equipment that makes your infect creatures good? This card's good, but the equip cost is a little hefty, and we could probably pick up some cheap equipments later on between packs 2 and 3 anyways. So a guy like this, if you're trying to go for the slower infect route, is actually pretty decent. So I think that's kind of the deck that we want to have, especially with something like Juggernaut. So I'll pick up the Scourge Servant here and see where we go from there. This pack doesn't have a whole lot going for it. Phyrexian Digester is, I guess, fine. It's not the worst, but it's not the best either by any means. Viridian Emissary, I'm sort of like looking at that versus the effect creature. I think by taking the Phyrexian Digester, it pretty much cuts off any sort of infect signal that we might be sending to the left. I don't think we were sending anything very strong at all. Pretty much cutting off every infect card that we saw that was decent. Except for like maybe Virulent Wounds that we kept passing. But yeah, the Viridian Emissary doesn't really stand out too much for me right here, and shipping it to someone will let them go to dinosaurs maybe, but I don't really care. I'll take the infect card and try and cut that off here. This pack pretty much has nothing for us. There's a chance that we go white, but I don't see going like white infect for Tine Strike, or Tine Shriek, that's what it's called, yeah. Tine Shrike? How do you say that? It's not actually written Shriek, but anyways. Yeah, there's really nothing in this pack for us, and Phyresis is just a really weak card, I think, so I guess I'll take that and maybe go into that. This pack pretty much has nothing other than the Pistis Strike, which might make the main deck anyways. Mirror Sire is a decent defensive card early, and you get okay value off it, but our deck's probably not going to take advantage of something like that, so I'll take the Pistis Strike. It'll be fine, who knows. Well, this was one of our this was a couple of our early packs, and I don't really see anything that's really stands out at us. I could probably either cut the Concussive Bolt here or the Ogre Resistor. The Concussive Bolt has like the higher potential of being blown out, whereas the Ogre Resistor is just like a decent creature overall. So yeah, I guess just cut the Bolt here. Yeah, nothing really great. The Silverskin Armor is pretty heavy for what it does for us. We can probably find something like Silvup Lifestaff in pack 2 and 3, so I'll take the Priest here. We might go white infect, but we might not, depends. Well, there's another Priest. Okay, so there's a higher chance that we go white infect here. Pack's kind of bland. Probably just take the Banishment Decree. Yeah, we're not putting the Caustic Hounds in this type of deck anyway, so I'll take the Banishment Decree. Cut that. I'll hide that. The deck's kind of looking a little mishmashy right now, but we'll see where we go from there. Haven't been a real big fan of these guys, but we'll see. Ooh, well, this is a pack. So we gotta mimic that. And I'll look at the rest of the pack. We have a Scrap Melter, which is obviously not in any of our colors. And we're not in a position to splash it here, so I'm going to move on. The Artisan's always good value. Contagious Beam is fine, but I don't see taking that over anything else in this pack. Rustic is okay, but we're not really looking to pick that up at this point. So there's a few Mana Mirrors here and there, but yeah, the Mimic Bat pretty much stands way above any of the cards in this pack. I mean, there's probably like, it's arguable if you were in like a white-red Metalcraft maybe that the Scrap Melter might be better value, or just red in general, but like I don't think taking the Mimic Bat over anything here, especially what we're drafting. Yeah, I'm taking that right now. So, this pack doesn't have a whole lot going for us at the moment. There is absolutely no infect card other than possibly a Throne of Geth if you want to count that. The rare is still here. All 3 uncommons are here. Is that uncommon? Yeah. All 3 uncommons are here. So the person to our right, the person to our left took a common. We're not looking to splash a card right now. I think that taking a Glamour Post Stag and possibly going white based here might be fine. It doesn't seem the greatest because it's sort of like, doesn't work that well with our plan, but it's a good value card, and if we can find anything that combos with it, would be great. Like maybe taking the Throne of Geth is fine here, but I don't really see a reason to. So yeah, I'm gonna take the Stag. All right, this is getting a little weird. We're getting all these white cards. Our deck's probably gonna be like half infect and half not infect. I kind of don't like the way it's going, but the problem is like we don't have very good infect creatures at the moment. I haven't been seeing any infect creatures in these packs, except for that one contagious name that I passed. And this Blackcleave Goblin doesn't make anything that much better. I think we want to just branch off and go white here. Razor Hippogriff is probably a much better value card than Revoke Existence. Although Revoke Existence is a solid removal spell that deals with like indestructible creatures and things like that. But I don't think you could argue with the Razor Hippogriff, so yeah, taking that. We might look to go like non-infect with the Juggernaut in our deck. It depends on what comes around. At this point, I'm going to take the Revoke Existence, I think. The only card that we might be considering here is Painsmith, maybe, but we're not even really committed to black either. Darkstick Drake is decent too, but I haven't seen too much in ways of blue signals, so I'm going to probably pick up the Revoke Existence here and try and stay solid white. Okay, so now we get into this situation where we have to pick one of our other two colors that we want to play. Clearly we can play all our artifacts in our Inkmoth Nexus, so we might be in a position to just like get rid of our black cards or get rid of our green cards. I think that I kind of want to pick up the Cyst Bear at this point. The black gives us an infect creature and a go for the throat, but the Cyst Bear is a solid value card. Like, he's just a solid creature one way or another. We might end up splashing just to go for the throat. Depends on what we get in the next couple of packs, or this pack and the next pack. I wish we had like a black infect creature instead, but yeah, I'm gonna go pick up the Cyst Bear here and see where we go. It's kind of looking like a mess. Okay, the Corpse Cur kind of makes me a little happy here, so I'm gonna take that and hopefully try and progress with this white-based infect deck, and hopefully it doesn't go too awry. Ichor Claw Mirror at this point makes me happy. It's probably one of the most solid 2-drops in infect, aside from Plague Stinger, maybe. Like, Blight Mamba is also okay, but speaking of which, yeah, well, there's a Blight Mamba. I think I'm going to take that here. Hopefully we can pick up like Horizon Spellbomb in the next couple of packs and then splash those. Unfortunately for us, like, I mean, the Contagious team came back, but I don't think we're going to be like black based at this point. I think we're looking more to pick up the Goldmere, as kind of awkward as it sounds, but we have like a lot of top heavy things, just sort by cost. Yeah, we have a lot of things up here in the 5 to 6 range, and even like the 4, so a Goldmere will probably help us more than a Contagious team we're probably not going to play, so. Okay, there's not much in here. Probably either want to cut the Acolyte or the Disperse. Acolyte's kind of annoying for us, and Disperse is a minor inconvenience, but can also be a blowout depending on the situation. I'm going to go with cutting off the Acolyte, and it's also something we might actually board in against like a Mirror Infect matchup, so. There's nothing in this pack, really. I'd probably just kind of blunt the Assault. Again, there might be something we want to board in. Seize Initiative. Ooh, that might be pretty decent in this deck, especially with Infect. That might actually be something we start. No one really plays around that card anyways. I'm going to cut the Surtark, because that's the only real card that's going to be played there. And yeah. Hide this card. This is not the greatest looking deck, but it's not the worst either, so we'll see where it goes. That's a Spike Shot out there, jeez. And a Galvanic Blast, man. This deck's rough. But I think we want to pick up the Horizon Spellbomb here. It lets us play our black cards. At least the Go for a Throat at this point is one of the cards I want to play. We might have to play the Scourge Servant depending on how our deck pans out, but yeah, we gotta ship these 2 awesome red cards, but yeah, there's nothing we can really do about it, so ship it. Ichor Clawmere and Telgelad Fallen sort of stand out at me. I like taking the early, more aggressive infect creatures at this point. Untamed Might's also really good, but looking at our infect creature count, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and kind of 9, like a pseudo. I just want to pick up more creatures at this point. I don't think Untamed Might will come back, but yeah, at this point we have to prioritize our creature base because that's pretty important for an infect deck. So yeah. All right. Ooh, this is a tough pick. Like Slice and Twain is a huge value card, but Corpse Cur is so good, especially when you have more than one of them. In terms of removal spells at the moment, we have a Revoke Existence, and we have a... Is that it? We have a Go for the Throat that we can splash. A Pistis Strike for flying creatures. Yeah, I think we have to take the Slice and Twain here. If we had another piece of removal, I'd probably take the Corpse Cur. They're both pseudo 2-for-1 cards. Well, I mean, the Slice and Twain is a straight up 2-for-1 card. But the Corpse Cur I like is one of my favorite infect creatures. But yeah, unfortunately, we're lacking removal, so I'm going to take the Slice and Twain here. Alright, so a lot of the infect creatures are coming in this pack. But unfortunately, this one's black, and we can't really take it because we're not very hard black. Otherwise, this pack is kind of blank for us, so what do we not want to play against? Like, I could probably either cut a Stoic Rebuttal or a Saberclaw Golem or a Sunspear Shikari. I'd probably just cut this Saberclaw Golem. Yeah, I don't really care at this point. This pack's pretty dry. Alright, so wow, there's a Corpse Cur and an Untamed Might that came. Again, like, I don't know, I have to double check my infect creature count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 if you count the Plague Mob Beast. Man, this is tough. I don't know how greedy it is. I kind of just want to have the double Gravedigger effect because I think in the long game, our deck is trying to win, like, slowly. Especially, like, with our defensive infect creatures. I think taking the Corpse Cur is probably better here. If we had a lot more 2-drops, I would definitely pick up the Untamed Might, but as it is, we only have about 3 infect creatures that are attacking, so this pack is kind of blank again for us. And the card we probably don't want to see on the other side is Furnace Celebration, so I cut that one right here. Actually, I realized I haven't been counting my Inkmoth Nexus, so actually we have a pretty decent amount of infect creatures. And the Throne of Death, the Throne of Geth. Was this the pack that we opened? There's 5, and there's 9 cards here. Yeah, so wait, no. That means there's 6 cards. No, it's not our pack, but it looks like our pack. So, but yeah, I think the Throne of Geth in this position, I think that's okay considering what we have. It combos pretty well with Corpse Curs, so I'll take that. This pack's kind of blank. I'm not going to play anything here. Maybe the Soul Parry out of the board for something. Sure. I'm going to cut a bunch of these. Yeah. Take that again. Wow, the Untamed Might tabled. So me passing up on Untamed Mights twice is actually probably the right call here. Trigod Infestation looks solid as well, but I've passed on Untamed Might so many times here, I don't think I can pass on it again. So I'm going to take it here. Nothing in this pack. Withstand Death's a reasonable card to play. Alright, we got a bunch of cards we can play here. Scourge Servant's probably not making the cut. We'll see. Depends if we really want to splash this Go for the Throat or not. I think it's worth it though. Like, I think that splashing something like Go for the Throat is pretty much the same as splashing Shatter. Like, the odds of you hitting something is more or less 50-50. In some matchups more than others, like, it can be awkward and dead, but so can Shatter, right? And I've splashed my share of Shatters in the past too, so I'm gonna start that there, and then see where we go from there. I'm actually gonna start to seize the initiative. It sounds crazy, but like it's a pump spell for infect, and giving first strike to an infect creature is actually bananas in combat. So yeah, we'll see how that works out. Plague Mob Beast, sure. Pistol Strike will sit on the side for now. So this is actually reasonable as well. Let's see here. And that and that. Alright, so without Pistis Strike and Withstand Death, we have 23 cards. And that's including 1 Mana Mirror, so I guess that's fine. We also have an Inkmoth Nexus we're playing. So let's just sort this out. Glimmerpoint Stag doesn't actually look like it combos with anything in our deck, so you might reconsider that. It's a good value card otherwise, though. So let's move these down here. This is sacrifice a creature. We have a lot of things that sort of have sacrifice combos, which actually up the Corpse Cur combos. And man, can you imagine like sacking Corpse Curs with Mimic Vat out? Oh man, we can go bananas with this deck. I got Tonegeth, man, this is sweet. I think I want to cut the Glimmerpoint Stag here. It doesn't actually feel like it does anything useful. No. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 actual infect creatures, 12 if you count Inkmoth Nexus, and 13 if you count the Plague Mob Beast. At this point, I think the last card could probably just be Pistis Strike. I'm not a big fan of Banishment Decree. It feels like super slow. We could splash the Scourge Servant too if we're splashing Go for the Throat, which might not actually be terrible, but I kind of don't want to have awkward non-black draws, so I think playing the Pistis Strike's okay here. And we're probably going to board that out most of the time if we find that it's useless. So this deck doesn't look too bad. It doesn't look that great either, but we'll see where it goes, I guess. It's sort of a slower defensive infect deck with stuff like Blight Mamba, Priest of Norns, and Cyst Bears, holding the ground early, doing recursive tricks with Corpse Curs, and finishing the game off with stuff like Phyrexian Juggernaut. I guess this is okay. It's not the worst, it's not the greatest, but we'll see where it goes. This is actually the first time I think I've drafted a white infect deck. Actually, there was one time where I had a white-black infect deck, drafting with Shuhei Nakamura, and we ended up just killing people with Mere Battlesphere most of the time, as far as I can remember. So it's not the first time I've drafted white-based infect, but this might be the first time I kill people with poison. So we'll see. And I say that, and I'm probably just gonna like kill people with this gold mirror or something stupid like that. So we'll see. Let's see what Moto suggests. 7, 8, 1. That might be right. Let's see here. We have 1 double white card as a Razor Hippogriff with a gold mirror, and Horizon Spellbomb. We have 2 double green cards. Maybe that's actually correct. Yeah, I don't see a reason to argue with that. The 1 swamp for the Go for the Throat. Yep. So it looks pretty solid. And we got 17 lands with an Inkmoth Nexus, so hopefully our mana works out nicely. And yeah, so we'll join you back here for round 1.